Okay, so I had a comment on a video about dusty records, and there's no great sort of secret or magic to dusty records. In fact, I did struggle to actually find a dusty record. This one here is actually out of a batch which I haven't been through yet on camera, but I had a quick look, and it's a little bit dusty. I've also got another one under here as well, which is I have shown before, but I will talk about because it is actually relevant. So I think sort of an important thing about cleaning anything is depending on what it is, depending on the state it's in. You may have noticed in the past I've been very keen to be careful with things like mouldy records, but dust, there's dedicated dust mask. I will use this, or have used this when cleaning things in the past if things have been particularly dusty. So yeah, there's that. There's goggles. Again, depends what it is I'm doing, but goggles are good protection. There's gloves. I've got this box of disposable gloves here. So I mean, this isn't a tutorial. This is, as I say, there's nothing particularly educational about this, but these are the sorts of things I would potentially use depending on how dirty things are. I mean, records, they've been sitting around quite often for many decades. This record might have been in this sleeve here it could have been in this sleeve easily for more than 50 years, but I have taken out, had a quick look, and hopefully if I can show this on camera, I mean, it's I don't know if that will really show up there, but there's a little bit of dust on it. It's it's not too ingrained, but there is a little bit of dust there. And to be honest, the simplest solution, just sort of a dry microfiber cloth like this, and rub it, and let's make sure we find a nice clean patch. These are reasonably clean, these, but if I just rub it like so, yeah, it's a little bit of dirt comes off it. So yeah, not a very dusty record. There's a little bit of dust, but nothing very much on this one. And I think that's the that's kind of sort of like the minimum, really. Just clean a bit of dust off there. You can see there's a little bit of dirt gets lifted there. It's quite common when cleaning old 78s to pick up a little bit of dirt. I mean, I always wash my hands after I've been handling 78, so when I'm playing them, I'll put them on, but once I'm done with playing 78, so I'll go wash my hands, because they're not always, even if I've cleaned them, they're not they're not necessarily the cleanest thing, and I certainly it's certainly possible to pick up dirt and stuff off them. So anyway, I mean, that was a bit dusty, that record. I clean it a bit like so. That's looking a bit better. If the dust was thick and sort of ingrained on, I might use some water. I might use some dish soap. I've done a video recently about using dish soap. Lots of people have said to me dish soap's a good thing to use, so I've tried it. It seems to work okay. Again, I'd use some gloves. I'd use a microfiber cloth. So if we flip this over, I mean, on this side, yeah, again, there's a I don't know if that's showing up or not, but there is definitely a little bit of dust there. So if it's going to show up under this camera here, good measure, we'll try it on this camera over here as well. It's clear to my eyes, there's dust. In fact, I can see on that camera there. You may have been able to see it on the other cameras as well, but there's definitely a little bit of dust there. Nothing too drastic. So again, I just use a microfiber cloth, just wipe it down. And when the microfiber cloths get a little bit dirty, I put them in the wash. go through the laundry, and they clean up again. And you know, that's really all there is to it. So no great secret, no great magic. Yeah, I don't have any really sort of like clever suggestions. You know, as I've said before, you know, obviously you don't want to be breathing in dust. If there's a lot of dust, you know, work outside. Use some sort of you know, protection. You know, you don't want it in your eyes either. There's lots of dust. So eye protection, hand protection as well. You know, doesn't hurt to have protection. But you know, it depends. You know, you've got to use some common sense, and it depends on how dusty things are. This record did need a little bit of dusting, but it's nothing very problematical. And yeah, in fact, we'll move right over to this camera here. I don't know if that looks better. I mean, it's not spotless, but you know, the dust has come off pretty much with the cleaning. So that record there, so that's a nice Vocalion. I want to carve your name. This one is, apparently. Can't help but read the label. I haven't read the label before. And what is on the other side? Hopefully something good. When the lilac bloom uncloses. Yeah, probably not in very good camera shot there. Just out of interest, if anybody's wondering what it is, it's that. It's a nice old record. In fact, I can see there's a bit of dust there still, so maybe we'll take a bit of dust off there. I don't want to use anything more than just a microfiber cloth on this, really. I just don't think it really needs it. So whether the label needs dusting or not, that's a very good question, but quite often it's possible to just rub it over very slightly and get a little bit of dirt off. Yeah, okay, so that's that record, which was a little bit dusty. This record here, this is an interesting Victor. Get that out of the way there. Now this record here, if I just flip it over, this is actually a single-sided record. That's not relevant really, and it's got a nice white label on it. It's a repressing, sort of a one-off repressing. That also is not really relevant either. The reason I wanted to show this record is the person who sold it to me didn't know anything about 78s, and I'm, you know, I don't think that's doing them a disservice. They come across this in a job lot, I think in a house clearance or something similar. They'd taken a look at this record and decided that it was fine, it just was a bit dusty. And I don't know if it shows up on here. Again, I'm gonna move over and let's just try it over here. If it doesn't come out, I will add a photo, but you can see sort of like white lines. Yeah, I think it's showing up on that there, which kind of looks like the record might be dusty, but it's not. That is actually record wear, and that will not come off. So if you see a record that's got these sort of like greyish marks on like this, and so hopefully that's showing up there okay, don't be fooled into thinking that it's dust and it will clean off, or it could be washed off or anything like that at all. That is actually damage. That is actually wear to the record. So I mean, I didn't mind. I didn't, you know, it was a rare record. I wanted to buy it. So, you know, I kind of knew what I was buying. I knew it wasn't dust. I wasn't going to argue with the person at the time. But just to be aware that a record with sort of like grey marks on there, it's not a cleaning issue, it's actually a wear issue. This record has just been played a lot on a wind-up gramophone, I would have thought. The record date's probably from the 1920s based on the label, although it's a repressing of a much earlier record. And the person who paid good money to have it pressed, they would have contacted Victor and got it repressed. I don't know which way around this camera is going to be. Maybe put the label like that. They paid good money, and Victor pressed it, and somebody typed up the label at Victor, and as a special order, and they probably then received it and played it to their heart's content, and that is what happens to records when they're played a lot. They do eventually sort of like get these grey marks. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say about that record. You know, any questions, any comments, any suggestions, please do let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested to read them. And if you've enjoyed this video, then you might like this one too. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.